European Competitiveness Strategy at Crossroads. Professor Jan Bosak. Smart Growth in the European Union, in Global Perspective. Smart Growth. At the enterprise environment level, factors: competition, clusters, entrepreneurship, availability of finance. At the digital agenda level, factors: ICT readiness, ICT usage, ICT impact, innovative Europe level. At the education and training level, factors: education, training, international economic strategies, open and closed development, active and passive trade policies, mercantilism, free market, competition, supporting champions, supporting exports, anti-import strategies, protectionism, exchange rates policies, strategic opportunities and strength, SWOT analysis, economic freedom, choices, entrepreneurship and competition, integrity on diversity, efficient markets, balanced development, human capital, innovation, financial strength, open development. The European Union, the United States of America, Japan, Republic of Korea. Productivity group, GDP per hours worked, Geary and Camus $, index US equals 100. Europe versus selected countries. Benchmark economy S. Inclusive growth pillars: inclusive growth, labor market and employment, social inclusion, sustainable growth pillars: sustainable growth, environmental sustainability. Smart growth in the European Union in global perspective: smart growth, enterprise environment, competition, clusters, entrepreneurship, availability of finance, digital agenda, ICT readiness, ICT usage, ICT impact, innovative Europe, education and training. Education, training. The European Union development, enlargement, introduction of Euro, growing interdependence, declining dynamism, Lisbon strategy, growing public debt problems, financial crisis. The Lisbon Summit, March 2000. The European Union heads declare to make the European Union the most competitive and dynamic knowledge-based economy in the world by 2010, capable of sustainable economic growth with more and better jobs and greater social cohesion. The Lisbon Strategy, LS, a far-reaching agenda combining political initiatives and long-term economic reforms. Strategy includes benchmarking based on quantitative and qualitative indicators, and setting the specific timetables and translation of the European Union goodness into national and regional policies. Lisbon Strategy, LS, objectives. 1. Creating an information society. 2. European area for research and innovation. 3. Completing the single market, services, and network industries. 4. Efficient on integrated financial markets. 5. Strengthening entrepreneurship. 6. Creating new jobs. 7. Sustainable development. The Lisbon Strategy, LS, SWOT analysis. European model. Economic rating, behind the United States of America. Social rating, ahead of the United States of America. Weakness of business environment in the European Union versus the United States of America. The Central European new member states perform significantly worse than the average the European Union-U15. Competitiveness strategy. A competitive country can maintain high rates of growth and employment in the medium term. Country's economic system has an ability to provide high-end rising standards of living. Competitiveness depends on the quality of country institutions and the extent they support the European Union creation and adjustment to changing circumstances. Competitiveness assessment. Criteria. Innovation. Entrepreneurship. Liberalization. Information technologies, network industry, social inclusion, human capital development, financial stability, balanced development. The Lisbon Strategy, LS, 2005. The European Union enlargement and its impact on labor market. Wim Kok Report on Labor Activity. Stockholm Revision of the Lisbon Strategy, LS. Sustainable economic growth. Labor activity. Target 70% of labor force. Unemployment reduction. Deregulation on reform of labor market relations. Human capital development. Friendly environment for innovation. Employment activity. Better use of social energy, entrepreneurship, knowledge. Increase in activity of elder labor over 50 and 60 years old. increase in labor activity and reduction of pressure on social budget expenditures, increase in labor market elasticity, improvement in female labor activity, increase in annual working hours, increase of income per capita, strategy based on knowledge, increase in labor activity and entrepreneurship, recommendation of European Commission, national reform programs and national strategies from URCs, establishing ministerial representatives in charge of the Lisbon Strategy, LS, implementation, spring the Lisbon Strategy, LS, progress reports, the European Commission Assessment Report on implementation of the Lisbon Strategy, LS, the European Commission recommendations for member countries, the European Commission Assessment Report and structure of funds availability, WIMCOC Report and abandonment of Lisbon Strategy, LS, 2004 expansion of new membership, disappointing progress in the Lisbon Strategy, LS, implementation, proposals of investing in people, recommendation of labor market reforms, environmental protection and climate policy, the Lisbon Strategy for growth and jobs, investing in people, modernizing labor markets, unlocking business potential, especially of small and medium companies, SMCs, investing in knowledge and innovation, energy and climate change, financial crisis and European response, monetary and public finance adjustment policies, financial reforms and focus on stability, emergence of deflation, increased climate policy controversies, Greek crisis, Juncker investment proposal €315 billion, energy policy issues, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP, and European competitiveness, the Europe 2020 Competitiveness Report, building a more competitive Europe. Europe 2020 Flagship Initiative and Industrial Policy for the Globalization Era Digital Agenda for Europe Innovation Union Youth on the Move and Agenda for New Skills and Jobs European Platform Against Poverty Resource Efficient Europe 2020 Competitiveness Index The Smart Perspective Enterprise Environment Digital Agenda Innovative Europe Education and Training The Inclusive Perspective Labor Market and Employment Social Inclusion The Sustainable Perspective Environment Sustainability New Financial Perspective New budget for 2014-2020. New priorities. More for innovation. Integration of the European Union infrastructure network. Competition on climate policy. Energy policy. Financial reforms and European Central Bank (ECB) policy. Deflation on public finance deficit. High financial systemic risk and economic slowdown. Basel I, II, and III, International Regulatory Framework for Banks Reforms, Capital Requirements Directives, CRD, III, and IV, Markets and Financial Instruments Directive, MIFID, and European Passport, European Rating Agency, European Financial Supervision, Banking Reform, the 12 Pillars of the Global Competitiveness Index, GCI, Basic Requirements Subindex Pillar 1. Institutions Pillar 2, Infrastructure Pillar 3, Macroeconomic Environment Pillar 4, Health and Primary Education Key 4, Factor-Driven Economies Efficiency Enhancer Subindex Pillar 5, Higher Education and Training Pillar 6, Goods Market Efficiency Pillar 7, Labor Market Efficiency Pillar 8, Financial Market Development Pillar 9, Technological Readiness Pillar 10. Market Size Key 4, Efficiency-Driven Economies Innovation and Sophistication Factor Subindex Pillar 11, Business Sophistication Pillar 12, Innovation Key 4 Innovation-Driven Economies, Table 1, Subindex Weights and Income Thresholds for Stages of Development Stage 1 Factor-Driven Stage 2 Efficiency-Driven Stage 3 Innovation-Driven, European Competitiveness at Crossroads, New Strategy, Factors Reducing European Competitiveness, Factors potentially increase in European competitiveness. Refugee crisis and the European Union and its competitiveness. The Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP, and European competitiveness. Return to strategy for European growth, innovation and competitiveness. Strategic challenges and weakness, SWOT analysis. Improve system or policy centralization. Non-economic targets reducing economic efficiency. BRICS